Hello, and welcome to another episode of Now We're Talking. I'm Scott,
I'm Julie.
and thanks for joining us again. We're hoping to have fun and entertaining discussions that may end up being informative and enlightening, but we won't set that bar too high. We'll cover all kinds of topics from current events, sports, travel, music, and maybe delve into politics, relationships, and life lessons.
So today's episode 2. Woo! I'm excited. Also a little scared because I know what you have planned.
Yeah, today we've got a quick news story about 3D printed houses. We're going to talk a little bit about the NFL, and we're going to do an AMA where I'm going to ask Julie some questions, and we're going to get to know her a little bit better.
Well, before we start all that, certainly more important, NFL preseason has started. And I am super excited about that. For me, it's more than just about football, though. Cooler temperatures are coming. We can sit outside by the fireplace in the evenings, listening to our playlist. We should talk about our playlist sometime.
Yeah.
All the curated theme-based playlists we do, and then we talk about. It's just super fun, and we have a spreadsheet we keep all the songs in our heads. I don't know about most people, but it's certainly true for us. We wake up every morning with some song in our head. We have no idea how it got there or why it's there. I mean, sometimes we can sort of understand it, but anyway, we put it on a spreadsheet, and then we are going to create different playlists based on the songs in our heads.
No, that's right. I need to add today. I had that "What's Up." You know that song "What's Up."
No.
What's going on?
Oh, you're singing.
Well,
there was something I did not expect today.
There goes our listener. Yeah, I don't know. That was in my head this morning for some reason. But yeah, it's kind of fun. We do every week. We try to come up with a new sort of thematic playlist.
Yeah.
You know, it might be like our. I think we started with stuff that was pretty common, like our favorite artists and stuff, and then we did like one on protest songs and
bands we've seen
in concert, bands we want to see or we want to see,
people who've gone too soon.
Right, yeah. So that's fun, and then we get, and like as Julie was saying, we sit out back by the fireplace and play that, and just kind of
can we talk about it?
Yeah, we talk about the songs and sometimes what they mean to us and stuff. So
right.
Yeah, I think that's be a good topic to bring up, and when we start doing those again, we can share them with people.
Yeah. So football. How's your Eagles?
Yeah, they play the Ravens tonight. We're recording this on Friday. What is this, August 9th? And the first preseason game. So my whole wish for the 3 preseason games is that nobody gets injured on my team.
Right.
I don't really care so much about the other teams, but as long as nobody from the Eagles gets injured, somebody tears their ACL, they're out for the season.
Right.
But the Sirianni doesn't really play his starters much, so it's really going to be an opportunity for the latest round of draft picks and stuff to get some playing time.
Yeah. I mean, that's what preseason's all about, right? Just kind of get a feel over all the players. And
yeah. But like last season, he didn't play the starters at all.
Yeah.
They didn't play a single snap because I think the season before that, they played like one series and Jalen Hurts got hit out of bounds.
Mm.
And so he was just like, nope, that's it.
Yeah,
and
I'm not doing that again.
So, we've got I won't go too into it, but our offensive line has been great for a number of years now, but Jason Kelce, our center, retired.
Right.
So now we've got a new center sort of anchoring the line. So you kind of wonder
how that'll play out.
Yeah, and does he need to get used to game speed, calling the defense, calling out the protections and stuff like that. And so it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. Well, I hope we didn't lose all the people who don't really care for the Eagles, because Scott's a huge Eagles fan.
There are people who don't care about the Eagles?
Well, there's that whole Santa snowball scene people kind of fall back on, and I know you're going to kill me for bringing that up, but it's true.
I know, but that Santa was drunk and so anyway, we'll see. But yeah, I mean, we're both huge football fans. Maybe next week we could talk about Julie's Seahawks. But we, we really enjoy football. We plan our Sundays around it. We
Yeah.
planned a vacation, making sure that I think we're staying a day later when we go to North Carolina, just because the Eagles are playing the Panthers that Sunday, and so it'll be like locally broadcast. We'll be able to watch the game.
Oh, I
Just,
didn't understand that.
so, it's,
Oh, so now I get it.
so it's all about
I'm like,
that.
he just wants to stay an extra day with our family. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, no, he wants to watch the Eagles game. He doesn't want to be traveling on, on a football Sunday.
Yeah, I get it.
You know,
Totally get it. And I thank you very much for not bringing up the Seahawks. I'm still grieving our loss of Pete. So I hope, maybe next week I'll be starting to get back in the hang of it.
yeah, that's right. That's right.
All right, so let's move on.
Yeah. So the story I wanted to talk about was I saw this in Engadget, and there's a development in I guess it's just north of Austin, Texas, where they are building houses using a 3D printer, which I think is pretty cool. It's like this 40-foot tall, 4.5 ton 3D printer.
Oh,
And
wow.
they 3D print all the walls, the inside walls, outside walls. It's kind of interesting because it like somebody described it as like it looks like corduroy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they build it like it prints it in layers, in like
Oh,
these like half-inch thick layers.
okay.
And so I don't know, it's pretty cool. And I think I gather from like looking at the website for the development that they're pretty environmentally or trying to be environmentally conscious. Each house has solar panels on the roof.
That's
Um,
nice.
and so it's pretty neat. I don't know. I mean, price wise, they're pretty expensive. I wonder if the price will come down, if this becomes a more common way of building houses.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that comes to me is there an application available for like disaster relief when, people's homes have been destroyed? How quickly can they come up? Just small scale, enough to give people a roof over their heads, somewhere to go to the bathroom and take a shower.
Right, right.
And, just homeless people in general. I mean, it seems like there would be a great opportunity there to sort of expand that. But
Yeah, so the article was saying that these they use a mixture of concrete powder, water, sand, and other materials to lay out these stacks of tube-shaped concrete to construct the walls and eventually the whole house. The foundation and metal roofs are made the old-fashioned way, and it only takes about 3 weeks to build these 3 and 4 bedroom houses. Well, I
wow.
mean, I guess to print the walls, it probably takes a little longer to put everything up, and you still have to do all the electrical and
Oh,
plumbing
sure.
and all that kind of
Okay.
stuff, right?
All right.
But yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting. Like I said, I wonder as they build more of these, if it'll, if like the price will come down,
Right.
if the cost of, I can't imagine that this, like I said, is so this 4.5 ton or 4.75 ton 3D printer. They call it the Vulcan, and it's 45 feet wide. But as if there are more of those and they start building more
Yeah.
houses that way,
Yeah.
and it's supposed to be they're water resistant. Obviously, if you're going to be outside walls, you would hope they're water resistant,
Yeah.
but they're also energy efficient. Uh, and they said that the downside to it is the thickness of the walls. The internal walls too are so thick that it interferes with Wi-Fi signals.
Oh,
So you have to set up like a mesh routers like we have here, but
yeah. I have so many questions about that. Like, when you talk about electrical and plumbing, some of those come down like outside walls, right?
yeah.
So how are they doing that?
Oh yeah, I don't know. They must. I don't know if they like if the little video that I saw on it. It doesn't show like if they build in gaps, like not gaps, but like holes. So like as they
Yeah.
print out these tubes,
Yeah.
right, of each layer, if like there are points where they, like put a hole in it as they build it,
Yeah.
or as it's
Well, I'm sure their
printed.
engineers way smarter than we are who are
That's
who
right.
are all over it. So
That's,
there has to be an answer.
I hope they're way smarter.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Otherwise, these things aren't going to last very long.
Okay.
But I think it's pretty cool, and it'll be interesting to see. And the price wise, it's I don't know. The houses are they range in price, and if you go on the website, they range in price from like 450 to 600,000, which isn't a crazy amount, but they're smaller. Like the largest house there is about 700 square feet smaller than our house is.
Huh.
So they're not huge. They're single story,
Yeah.
um, but they are supposed to last in even extreme weather, which is probably a good thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So anyway, I thought it was pretty neat.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, they're doing great things with 3D printing nowadays, for sure.
yeah, maybe we'll get one.
And some not so great things, but here we are.
Yeah, that's right. All right, cool. Excellent. So that was our story of the week, and now we're gonna do something a little bit different. Like I said at the beginning, we're gonna do an AMA. Gonna ask Julie questions, give us a chance for everybody to get to know her a little bit better. I don't have a whole lot of questions yet, but I'm sure that as you answer some of them, it'll lead to others. So kind of, you know, uh, there'll be more discussion points um, but it'll give us a chance, give everybody listening a chance to get to know Julie, and then maybe next week we'll do the opposite.
Oh,
If you
for
can
sure.
ask me
Oh, for sure.
questions,
Next week we're doing it.
maybe. Since I'm
No,
in
no,
charge
there's
since I'm
no
in charge
maybe.
of the controls, we'll see how that
I
works
already
out.
have some of my questions written. So I'm super nervous about this, but I will say I have editing rights. So if I fail miserably, you will never know it because it will be
So
taken out.
don't worry, it'll be fine. We'll keep it clean.
All right, so shoot.
All right, so let's start with some easy ones.
Okay.
Where were you born?
I was born in a little town in Kansas called Satana. Obviously an Indian name. There was act, honest to goodness, a teepee down the street from my grandma's house. My grandmother raised me until I was like 6 years old, and it was a very friendly, small community. And I have some of the best memories I have are from that little town.
And how many siblings?
I have one older sister. She's 2 years older than me. I used to swear up and down when I was a kid that she had more birthdays than I did because it seemed like she had a birthday cake all the time and I only had the one every year. It seemed really unfair to me. I'm obviously sure that didn't really happen, but that's how it felt to me in my little brain as a 4 and 5 year old. But yeah, just one sister older, and she's awesome. Her name is Kathy.
All right, hi Kathy. All right, who did you go to prom with?
Well, there were two proms, junior and senior. So my junior prom was with a guy named Carl, and he was older than me, way older. And my mother was not happy
Wait,
at
wait, wait, wait,
all.
wait. How way older?
Well, like 6 or 7 years older than me.
Holy moly!
Yeah. So Mama wasn't happy about that. And it turns out he was a real weird dude. I didn't know that at, 16, 17 years old, but we dated for a while. And he had great cars, Corvettes, and, I think I was infatuated just with stuff at that point in my life because, like silly teenagers are. And then my senior year, I went with a guy named Mike, and he was dreamy, and I was really super crazy about him. I was very unworldly, and I was very bashful kid growing up, and so it was hard to get to know me. And I think boys who took me on dates were like, "Yeah, she doesn't have any personality," so. I sometimes didn't get second dates, but if you hung in there long enough, it was worth your But anyway, he was real sweet. And he had a sister named Julie, and I always did really think the world of him. And I think he did me too, but we just didn't work out. But it was a good prom. That was my senior prom.
Okay. Um, do you remember like did you guys have like a theme like the under the sea prom?
Like, first of all, just let me say thank you so much for not saying that our theme was
Fire.
fire. That used to really irritate the snot out of me, but I'm okay with it now because I've gotten used to it. But the my junior year, I can remember one of my friends, Linda, was standing in front of still have her picture in my wallet actually, with a guy named Hal. I know his last name, but I probably shouldn't say it. Anyway, that there were rocks in the background, like they were on the moon or something. So it had something to do with the moon, but I can't remember. I can't remember exactly what it is, and I really don't remember the senior prom at all. I have no idea. I can't remember what that one was. Sorry. No, I wasn't drinking. He's like making the sign where you tipping it up. No, I really wasn't. I was a good kid. My older sister was a little bit crazy, not like mentally crazy, but just kind of party girl crazy. And I saw the despair my mother went through with her, and I always just wanted to be the good kid, and not draw a lot of attention to myself. So I just really towed the line. So no, there wasn't any drinking for me. Now I will say there was some Boone's Farm Strawberry Hill wine that my friend Nancy and I used to drink. And when we had too much, we would just call each other's parents and say, we're just going to stay all night with the other one. Like Nancy would call her parents and say, I'm just going to stay all night with Julie tonight. And, we'd be lucky to get that line out without slurring our speech. But um, that that didn't really work. And so, our parents were on the phone with each other going, yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, she's not here either. So anyway, that didn't really pan out for us too well. But I was really pretty much a good kid growing up. So
Okay. It's just funny. And this is about you, but I'll just real quick. I don't remember my prom theme either. I have no idea what it was. The only thing I remember about the prom itself is that you have like the song. I don't know,
yeah,
and me being a child of the '80s
yeah.
and you know, nuclear war was,
Oh, yeah.
and at that point there was like the SALT, the strategic arms limitation talks and all that kind of stuff, and so some of the knuckleheads doing, in charge of the prom, like they made the song. I think they actually did a survey, and I don't know, maybe all my classmates were knuckleheads, but it was that song "Forever Young."
Oh, okay.
Well, there's like a line in there about like, are they gonna drop the bomb? And I'm
Oh,
just like, what the, like, what is that? Like,
well,
like, oh, that's so
somewhat
sweet.
related.
I know, but it's just, and I mean, I guess, thematically, I mean, like I said, being, in '86, I guess it was a concern,
Sure.
that show the day after, it was a few years before that and everything, but, I don't know. It
Well,
just,
music always sort of reflects the sign of the times.
yeah,
So,
yeah. I mean,
which is
yours might have been like a
good.
protest song or something,
Right,
or,
right.
or disco or
I did love some
something. I
disco.
know you did.
Had some Villa May pants.
Yeah, the shoes with the fish and the heel, like in the.
I don't think I had any push shoes, but
All right, so back to you. What was your first job?
when I graduated from high school, I got a job. There was a beef packing plant in our town, which necessitated some way to carry that. So that was where National Carriers was born, and people who drive down the highways may see National Carriers trucks, and they'll have Liberal Kansas along the bottom of it. I still see them every now and then, and I get super excited about it, but that's just a weird thing for me. And I worked for a guy named Jim McCarty, and he was really good looking, and I was a receptionist. And you know, in the late 70s, we were still wearing pretty short skirts. So my desk was in a corner. I mean, that this is always the memory that immediately hits my head when I think about that job is that over the loudspeaker, like on day 3, and nobody had warned me this was happening. Over the loudspeaker, somebody started screaming, "Border Patrol, Border Patrol." And people were diving under my desk with my short skirt on. And I'm like, what the hell is happening here? And so they were hiding, because they were illegal and really, honestly, the guy who, yeah, they were undocumented. And so the owner of National Beef, who hired these people, actually busted them in because he could pay them less. So, of course, I know all this now, didn't know it at the time. So it was very a weird moment for me, but that's what I think about. So National Carriers was my first job. There was a girl named Becky behind me who was a 10 key adding machine fiend. She could add on her adding machine. I just turn around and see piles of adding machine tape on the other side of her desk, and she would be going at it 90 miles an hour. I just sit and look at her like, that's crazy. You can go so fast. And I will say that I eventually got to her point, but not straight out of high school. So she was my hero, and that's what I wanted to grow up to be at that point in my life. So there you go.
All right, well, that was your first job, and now that you've retired,
Right.
what was your favorite job?
I worked for a company, an urgent care group in North Carolina, for, gosh, was it 15, 18 years? And just enjoyed it so much back before, urgent cares were on every corner. They're really a thing everywhere now, but back then they were not. And so I really felt like I was part of a group that was in the healthcare industry, sort of cutting edge, and sitting down with insurance companies to negotiate fee schedules to make them understand that what we did in urgent care was more equivalent to an emergency room than just a doctor's office, because we were doing x-rays and lab tests, and we had to have people to interpret all those results. So it was that, but it was also the people that I worked with, my bosses, the people who owned the company, just allowed me the ability to take it and run with it, in terms of how to do the billing and the collections, and really just diving into it. And then on the other side, just the people who worked with me and eventually for me were just phenomenal people who really wanted to make a difference, and do a good, give an honest day's work for an honest day's pay. And really just enjoyed every day working there. It was such a joy, such an education, and experience.
Was there anybody in particular that you enjoyed working with more than others, by any chance?
There's a leading question. At one point,
Your Honor,
we worked for a computer system was a company at that time called Misys, which was originally called Medic and then changed to Misys. And so there were some reporting needs that I felt like I needed in order to be able to analyze the data and understand what was happening. And data is everything. Even then, it's even more so now. But I connected with somebody at Misys who was in charge of writing reports and was the data analyst kind of guy. And took forever to get the report out that I actually wanted. So there were numerous conversations with this individual. And he'd send me something, and then I would be like, it's close, grasshopper, but just keep going, because that's not quite right yet. I've looked at the data. You're not quite there. And so as it turns out, Grasshopper turns out to be Scott. And so one day we met for lunch to talk about the report and how things were going, and one thing led to another. And so here I am now looking at him over a table with a microphone hanging in front of him. And it was, um, it, we could do a whole story about how this relationship grew, but
No,
yeah,
that's okay. I was
yeah,
just
we'll stop there.
yeah. Okay. So, in your life, you've lived in Kansas, North Carolina, Tennessee,
Right.
and a bunch of places in each state. Other than your house now, which I think you'd say you like the best, what was the favorite place that you lived?
Well, my favorite, I mean, it's really favorite in different ways. I mean, it's like, which kid do you love the most? For different reasons. My first love it was the old stucco house that belonged to my grandmother. This is gonna be hard. Um, and then yeah, my current house is my favorite house now, but in between there, I liked the house we lived on when we lived on the golf course in well, we had a Raleigh address, but it was actually more in Garner, North Carolina, that was in Raleigh. We got to build that house too, but it was just off the first hole, right?
Yeah, yeah, it was on
Yeah.
the first team.
Um, and it just felt like home. It always felt like home to me. So,
Well, what about like the towns or the areas that you lived in?
well, I mean, I hate to go to the negative place first, but I think Memphis was my least favorite, and I know that you liked it a lot. Um, but it was really when I left North Carolina, I felt like I'd been there long enough that I felt like I left most of my good friends,
Hmm.
and so it's um hard to say goodbye to that and being able to drop by your friend's house and have a cup of coffee in the morning or hang out on the weekends by the pool. And there were so many minuses. um and on the other side, when you get to Memphis, there's no additions to offset that from a friend base. And my whole life I've not really been one of those people who make friends easily because I'm pretty shy and backwards. But which this is why a podcast works good for me. I don't have to actually talk to anybody specifically, but it I so Memphis would probably be my least favorite place. Nothing against Memphis. It was just a personal thing. It's just a transition phase for me that seemed hard to get my arms around. But my favorite place, um, I, I mean, I guess this is my favorite place now. We live, not just outside of Nashville, and we're close to great shopping centers and medical facilities. And it's still quiet and it's safe here. And I feel like this is a good place for me at this point in my life.
Okay, great. All right, let's talk about a desert island.
Okay.
All right, so let's start with the three albums you would want with you on a deserted island.
Oh man, that's so hard. Well, shoot. Um, See, this is one of those questions I wish I'd had advanced um warning about, because it's one of those I feel like I don't want to get it wrong. Music's obviously at this point, um, maybe not obviously to others, but really important to us. But specifically, oh gosh, well, I've always loved Stevie Nicks and Fleetwood Mac, so there definitely be some Stevie in that mix. The Eagles, are also really, I'm just feel forever connected to them. So probably a Hotel California. But gosh, I don't know the third one. Oh, wow, that's hard. Um, I feel like I'm super on the spot right now, and I can't. I mean, so many are coming to mind. Like I love the Doobie Brothers. I love Jim Croce. I love I listening earlier to Glenn Campbell, um, and Roy Orbison, and I mean, there's so many. Oh, I don't. I can't pick a third. I just can't. I
Right.
can't.
We'll call that a cop out. Okay.
Okay.
So,
So mean. Gosh.
all right. So, what about movies? What three movies would you want?
Oh, well, I know you're gonna laugh at this, but
Well, I know at least one of them.
yeah, you do. Shawshank Redemption is a show that I gravitate to for some reason, love it so much. And also Meet Joe Black, and I know a lot of people are gonna be like, "Oh, I hated that show," but I think if you hate that show, you haven't really paid attention. So there's so many nuances to that show that I think just escape people, and I don't think I'm making it up. But I love that show. The third one. Why am I always stumped by the third option? I don't know. I can't. I don't know. I feel like I'm too under pressure. I can't think of number three. Joe Black, Shawshank Redemption. Um, I don't know. I can't think of a third. Sorry.
All right. Another cop out. All right. All right. So, some people ask like, what would you want for like your last meal? But since you're on a desert island, we're not going to do anything depressing. But if but in this case, for the rest of your life, or while you're stuck on this island, you can only have three different meals.
Okay.
What would those be?
So I have to have three meals that I can only get two on a desert island. So like pizza
Right.
is not an option.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, in our magical deserted island,
You can
you can
go.
choose from any three things
Oh, okay.
or any
Well,
three meals.
okay. Um, well, but on a deserted island, there's probably not.
Look, there's not a video player to watch your movies or a record player for your albums either. This is completely
Good
hypothetical.
point. Good point.
It's.
Okay, so well, you just tell me what my favorite three meals are.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much it.
Um,
It's,
then I would go. Well, I mean, pizza obviously is a fave. Um, and I think there really isn't anything maybe better than a cheeseburger, a good cheeseburger, with a nice slice of cheddar cheese, just lettuce and tomato. Um, so I'd go with a cheeseburger, and then, well, it used to always be probably filet, but I have really come to love, as you probably, if you listen to the first episode, salmon. So grilled salmon is probably my third favorite. Maybe my first favorite right now, but it's number three in my list.
okay. All right. Well, and I won't ask you about what three books you would take with you. Um,
Okay, thanks.
I don't know if you'd come up with one, let alone three. Hey, some people don't like to read. Nothing wrong with that. All right. Tell us what your favorite vacation was and where you would like to go next.
Mm. Well, my favorite vacation was to Ireland
Okay.
with you, and we took a bus tour around the entire state. And
Country.
it was a country, sorry, and had our bus mates we just connected to, and it seemed like it made it so much better. And I have a comparison to that too, because we'd gone back to the UK and did another bus tour a few years later, and it just wasn't, the scenery was different, and we were obviously geographically in a different place, but it, from camaraderie, sitting around the dinner table talking to strangers, just it just I never felt like I connected in the same way that we did with the people in Ireland, or they weren't from Ireland, but in the Ireland trip. So that truly was my favorite. And man, if I could recreate that again, I'd do it 100 times. It was so fun. The country is beautiful. The the um the beer is awesome. And so that definitely be my favorite. I have to pick up three. Was that?
No, no, no.
Oh,
Just what was your favorite? And
okay.
where would you like to go next?
Oh, next, yeah. Well, when I was in grade school learning geography, one of the things that I remember, reading through and understanding and studying was Greenland and Iceland. And so every time, I think about Aurora Borealis and those sort of things, I'm still drawn to, didn't they call it the land of the midnight sun? So I think that would be my answer. I would really love to be able to see those two places, or at least one of them. And obviously seeing the Aurora Borealis is on my bucket list. So
Okay, great. So that wasn't that bad, right?
oh, we're through?
No, I got one more.
Oh, shoot.
All right. So,
Okay.
all right. So my last question is, why are you so mean and won't let me get another dog?
I'm not mean. I've had pets my entire life. I had, from living with my grandmother who had two chihuahuas, to living with you now and having Issy. I don't think there's been a time in my life where I did not have a pet. And why are you trying to make me cry? That's the question. I just I lost Rocky. Oh shoot. I don't want to say goodbye anymore.
That's fair. I get it. I get it. I just, I don't know. I want another dog.
I know.
Um, okay, that was it. That wasn't too bad.
No, till the end it got bad.
I'm sorry. I didn't.
Okay.
Okay.
So is
That was it.
okay, all right. So I guess we will close this episode. I look forward to the next episode where I get to turn the tables and ask all the questions to Scott. And it's going to be a whole lot more fun for me.
For you. All right. Well, with that, we hope you found it worth another listen. Hit that subscribe or follow button so you don't miss out. Thanks again for listening to Now We're Talking. Music today is by Landon Bailey. Opinions are, of course, ours and ours alone, and do not necessarily reflect our parent company, our employers, our relatives, our friends, or anyone else that you could possibly think of. Talk to you soon.